Woke up late again, spilling coffee on the drive. In the middle of the night, in the middle of a dream, you came to me. I heard your voice as clear as can be. Stood right there beside my bed, took my hand and you held my head, whispered in my ear, don't worry dear. You got that existential fear, but love is why you're here. Work the checkout at the grocery store. Yesterday he took his paycheck and walked out the door. He said, honey, I don't know where I'm going. Oh, and I don't know where I've been. Funny, it don't matter no more, 'cause child, getting into the van. Your mama left this morning and she's not coming back. I'm sick of feeling sorry for myself.
We are having a snow day. It snowed about 6 inches.
You know what? I'm jealous.
Yeah, you should be, because it's pretty great. I mean,
yeah. Hey, Seth.
yeah,
How you doing?
in Miami, and I'm jealous of you, so we could just be mutually jealous.
Exactly. You know what I would do for, like, you know, snow and white Christmas and all that? We dream of that kind of stuff.
You do. You dream of a white Christmas. Seth was born in Tampa. He knows all about Florida.
There you go. Right. So Seth knows that Christmas here is depressing. The palm trees with the lights around them. And it's like.
Well, I was born in Florida, and then when we moved to Hawaii. So it was just more of the same.
I know, the poor man. He had to grow up in Florida and Hawaii.
Life.
Look at you, tropical. And your music is like not tropical at all.
Nope.
No.
we write like sad. I mean, I don't think it was intentional, but that album, there's some heavy hitters there, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely, guys. By the way, guys, before anything, I mean, congratulations, guys. Your album Crucible just came out October 23rd.
Yep.
Guys, outstanding. Like outstanding. I mean, I have to tell you, an emotional journey, guys. All 39 minutes. It's like going through a Martin Scorsese movie. I don't know, man. It's a whole emotional experience, guys. Massively well done. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for, I feel like you listened to it. Like you know, I feel heard. So thank you.
Are you kidding? I haven't stopped sharing it to all my, you know, to all my friends and you know, music tastemakers in my circle this weekend. It's been amazing.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
We appreciate that.
Well, it was a journey for us as well. I mean, it's kind of interesting. It was very physical. Like Seth literally built the studio that we recorded that in right before, like, we renovated our house and the city wouldn't let us do anything to the garage. So literally the day that the inspector came and like gave us the seal of approval on the house, basically ensuring that no other inspectors were going to be here. So started like tearing shit down in the studio and like making it. And that was in January of 2019. And then by April, we were starting the whole recording process. So
That's great.
It was a journey making it.
Yeah,
It's not just a journey listening.
Well, you know, it came out so smoothly. So yeah, very, very, very good job, guys. So, you know, to get started, let's start with this. We're rounding up the corner in 2020. Finally, feel like so let me like ask you guys, you know, obviously new album, new singles, family life for you guys. How would you, you know, China, how would you describe 2020, you know, for you, like in a nutshell?
I mean, part of me feels like, you know, obviously nothing turned out the way that we wanted it to, you know? And part of me feels like I'm like an astronaut, like floating above the earth, like watching this all happen and still trying to make my thing like it, which doesn't, I don't know if that makes much sense to anyone else but me, but I feel like oddly like connected, so deeply connected to like the pulse of the world. But then also when you're in the creative process, you're so much like in this world, in this other world. And then when you release that to the world, it's like, it's almost like sending signals from another planet, hoping that like you're connecting, you know? And so, and it feels like this has hit, like we somehow like hit like a razor beam, like with this album, like it is connecting in a big way. But 2020 has been a big a big pivot for us. We were going to go on tour. We were, you know, like
Yeah.
it was just going to be a whole thing. And immediately, basically 4 days after shutdown, we pivoted to a weekly live stream sort of format. And that was amazing. And that adds to like this feeling of like everyone's in their own little bubble, and we're all like sort of like transmitting like signals to each other from our computers and everything. It's like we're all like trying to connect in this. It's not new, but it is new. Like there's this new way of connecting with people via music and Zoom and live streams and everything. So that's been really interesting. And in some interesting way, more community building than it would have been otherwise.
I see what you're saying. And I've been getting that a lot, how, you know, obviously the fan connection has gotten deeper through this way. Obviously, you know, Seth can be there on stage, you know, touching fans physically, feeling the energy, but it's like, it's almost made the artist and the audience connect in some like ethereal way, right? I think that's where you're going.
I think it also has illustrated really clearly something that, you know, we as artists have said for a long time, which is we're necessary. And I think it illustrates for people now. I mean, we did our first in-person show. It was socially distanced outdoors Saturday night,
dude,
which was very cold. And every seat was purchased because people.
People were like, we sold out like 5 days before the show, 6 days before the show.
People who we've never heard of were buying tickets.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like people need this medium so badly, and everyone's like a little bit sick of the online stream thing, you know. So like any opportunity to see live music, whether they're in like 30-degree weather or not, it's like everyone is just jumping on it. So I think in a way, it has created more community in this ethereal way. And I like that because we can be almost more off the cuff, like online. You can like have the dog and the kids running around, and you know, like it's very personal. But the you know, being on stage, it was one of the top 5 shows that we've done, because I think because everyone was so bought in, and it was just such a catharsis for us because we haven't done it so long, and performing is a thing, you know. It's like it's different when you do it online than it is in person, and
absolutely,
and you turn into a different persona, and you're able to really channel something. And transmit, you know, energy, you know, person. It's just I love it so much.
Of course, as nice as it must be to get virtual hearts or virtual likes, nothing like seeing an actual face cry or something, you know.
Right.
Exactly, guys. So before we get to the music, Seth, let me start with you. I have to ask this. How did you guys are such a wonderful couple? Do you mind sharing with our audience how you guys met?
Okay. Well, so
he's got it on autopilot. He's like, okay, he's going to that one. Let me press the button. Yeah.
I like being the one to tell this story though, because it's different depending on who tells the story. So I was helping out a friend, a mutual friend of ours, as it turns out. I was being his sound guy, his roadie, at just this tiny little gig. I mean, basically, we were just bored, and I was just hanging out. And
up in the mountains.
And we're
Colorado.
driving up to this little town called Evergreen. We're driving up there, and he says, "Oh, I forgot to tell you, I got an opener. So can you do sound for the opener?" I was like, "Oh, okay, sure. What's the deal?" "Oh, it's this like songwriter. She plays piano." "Okay." And we're getting ready, and you know, you get to the show, and of course nothing's ready, so you have to like prep everything. And I hear this voice behind me, "Excuse me, where should we put this?" And the two of us, my buddy and I, we turn around, and there's these 2 beautiful women on each end of this very heavy electric piano. The rest are like, but China was one of the beautiful women, and I was smitten right away, and but I just had to stick around for a while.
I had just gotten out of this really not great relationship, and I was like, you know,
you needed to heal, to do your healing kind of thing.
Exactly, I need to heal.
I just helped her.
He did. He was so like, we were like, we would like talk on the phone. Well, actually, that night we all went out for drinks with a bunch of friends, and I remember thinking, he's the most intelligent man at the table, or person at the table, you know. I was just thinking, he was just like really smart and witty, and
And at that same table, she, you know, it was a bunch of musicians all sitting around being dorky and arguing about whether Jeff Buckley was a great artist and that kind of thing. And she says, guys, I heard this song and I can't find it.
That's right.
And then she just like in this restaurant just belts out the chorus of the song Cathedrals by Jump Little Children.
But I didn't know who it was at the time.
And I didn't either, but she sang it and I was like, I will find this song.
And
and I found it and I bought it and I gave her this CD.
This is back in the days of like when you could go to
you had your own human Shazam.
Yeah,
like,
that was me.
I think that, you know, it's funny. I was talking to someone the other day about how great Shazam was, like the second app ever created. And they stuck around because they're so great.
They're so great.
Yeah. I would marry my own Shazam. Hell yeah.
Yep.
I'm taken. Sorry.
Yeah. At the time, also, gosh, I've never told anyone this. I was directing. So I'm also a theater buff, theater person in my past life. So I was directing this production of The Wizard of Oz for a bunch of like sort of like middle grade kids, and Seth rode his bike like 40 miles to come help me lay the yellow brick road. And that was when I like on the stage or whatever to like create the set. And I was like, uh-oh, I think I really like this guy.
A feeling, yeah. Oh boy, yeah.
It was the yellow brick road.
That's great, guys. Well, that's what. Well, listen, the musical world is glad that happened. Thank you, universe. Love that the universe makes that happen. Let's talk a little bit about the music. China, let me start with a little bit of a dour note with the music video for Missouri Calling.
Yes.
It's just such a beautiful video. I mean, you took your teenage son, from what I understand, with a bunch of iPhones, a GoPro, and you kind of documented this incredibly touching video about the homeless crisis that COVID has done in Denver.
Yes.
Do you mind telling us a little bit about it and how emotional was it?
So I've always been involved in some way with volunteering at a homeless shelter. We have used to, pre-COVID. Our church hosted a women's homeless shelter every Monday night. We would cook as a family. You know, I'd make a big meal and then we'd go and serve, you know, a couple times a year. We did this. Don't think I'm like Mother Teresa. This is not like an everyday thing. But I've always had a real soft spot for the unhoused, because in Denver it's pretty obvious that there's quite a population of people who don't have housing. So it's always been on my radar. But you guys, like when the pandemic hit, and I didn't really notice it until the summer because we weren't like out and about because everyone was on lockdown, right? So then when we started being able to like drive around and kind of like walk around, all of a sudden, I mean, it felt like it was night and day. There were these tent cities that just popped up all over Denver. In Civic Center Park, which is one of our favorite parks, there was like hundreds of tents. And then in random streets just downtown, you just kind of turn a corner and all of a sudden it seemed like there was like an enclave. And it seemed like also unhoused people would kind of find their tribe and sort of make like posses. So you could tell there's this one, I love this one. There's this one that had like beads and they had like antlers. Like nice. It was like, oh yeah, it was like all these like makeshift tents that obviously were part of a unit, you know? And that one would be, they'd take it down every couple weeks and put it up somewhere else. And I just got really curious, like, what the hell is going on? Why is this so much more pronounced now? And why have they, like, it seemed like Denver officials weren't making them move. Like a lot of times, you know, you can tell that a homeless camp has been cleared out by the cops, but these camps weren't getting cleared out.
Right.
So we, and our son Fender, he wants to make movies. He's like really into film. Actually, our daughter is as well.
They're upstairs right now.
Right there, they're making a movie.
Well, they did. If they filmed it, they did a heck of a job. If that was them. Yes. It looks it looks professional as heck. Yeah.
Which is crazy because really it was iPhones and a GoPro. And so my son and I, on a hot July day, Seth was, I think, working in the studio, and Fender and I went downtown and we got all of this footage. I would drive and he would be like leaning out the window with the GoPro. And then we also did a walk around. And it was so heartbreaking, and also a little bit like, it made us kind of mad, you know, like what's going on. And so I cut the video all together. I like edited it, and our son helped edit it as well. And it was really powerful. But then I was like, I actually kind of wonder if it would be more powerful if people understood what this was, if I explained through some text overlaid on the video what was going on. And I realized that like I didn't have a lot of time to do that. So I texted, or I got a hold of one of the teachers at our son's school, and we send our kids to this Episcopal social justice mission school called St. Elizabeth's, and their whole, like, it's a sliding scale private school, and their whole thing is diversity. They're all about like socioeconomic diversity in every classroom, racial diversity, and teaching kids about injustice and how to, you know, activating kids in the world to fight or understand these situations. And so Mick Sala is that teacher, and they like jumped on this, and they were so excited to have sort of like a way to introduce kids to something local. And because during the pandemic, like they can't do what they normally do, which is go to soup kitchens or animal shelters. That's right. Every class usually has some sort of community service component. It's what you were talking about, the power of the internet this pandemic has, like, yeah. Absolutely. Exactly. So they did the research. It was, so the interesting thing is that, you know, as soon as the pandemic hit, all of those homeless shelters either shut down all the way, like all those private ones in all the churches, they're run by volunteers who were like 70 and over, you know? So the volunteers, in order to protect everyone, they kind of had to shut those ones down. And then the official shelters, their capacity overnight shrunk by 65%. Yeah. All these people just had nowhere to go. You know, I don't think people know about that enough. No. Yeah. It's a hidden problem. Yeah. It's well, something we don't end up seeing. In a normal, you know, pre-pandemic world, it's kind of an issue that the private sector and some really wonderful other places are taking care of. But when they can't fulfill that need, the need overnight becomes very evident, you know? Right. Oh man, well, I'm so happy that you're transmitting that message, because we do need to remember all these people. I know there's a lot of issues right now, a lot of people losing their jobs, and, you know, family members getting sick and all that. But listen, these are also people that need their attention. Amazing. Seth, let me ask you about the songwriting, because, wow, it's stunning. Like Over the Edge, for example. I mean, these characters, Over the Edge, it reminds me of Bruce Springsteen, Darkness on the Edge of Town or something, man. You hear these people of Ronnie Jones, you know, you see him at the grocery store, or you think of Sheila, like, and you like visualize Sheila, right, at the sugar mill or whatever. Tell me about the development of these like characters. It's fantastic the way you guys did it. Well, that song started, we were just in a sound check on tour, and I think we were waiting for something. Neither of us remembers what we were waiting for, but we were waiting for something. And I just sort of started noodling a little bit, just kind of strumming and messing around. And China started singing, and for whatever reason, Sheila was a name that came out right away for her. Yeah, Sheila was the first character that started. So she was singing that out and just kind of like singing, you know, Sheila worked. And at first Sheila was working at the grocery store. And so, you know, as we developed, all these things got shifted and moved. So, but it started with that. And then we just took a voice recording of that and sort of messed with it. But then, you know, we were on tour. So we got the voice recording, and then you kind of forget. Yeah. And we got home and we were starting to work on the album and pulling together everything we had for the album. And so, you know, you start digging through all the voice recordings and the memos and the scraps of paper that have lyrics on them. And we were doing that. And we sent it to Ben. Yeah, we sent it to Ben, our producer. Yeah. And he was like, this one, start on this. He's like, this one. I really think there's something there. So we took it, I think, did I take it first? and I started to sort of flesh out. And when it first started out, like the whole song was about Sheila. And then Seth was like, I think we need another character.
Because with our songwriting style, we tend to sort of, one of us will sort of, it's like a two-man relay race where one of us will do a loop, and the other one comes and does a loop, and
That's so
cool. And we decided it needed more story. Like the single character couldn't carry the story on its own.
So we have this bay of lockers in our studio. It's 3 lockers, and we got them from a random, I don't know where they came from. They came from some factory, and the lockers are named Ted, Dan, and Ron. Ron, Ted, and Dan. Yeah, Ron, Ted, and Dan.
That's great. Yeah.
And we were like, we've always wanted to like write songs about Ron, Ted, and Dan. So we decided that Ron was going to be in Over the Edge, and we decided to flesh out like sort of an imagined story about this guy, Ronnie Jones.
I can't. This is fantastic. And something tells me it's not the last we're going to hear of these people. We'll see. Yeah, of course not. Of course not. Let me ask you about another one. Of course, Are We Gonna Make It? And the reason why this one struck such a big chord, like China, tell me a little bit about this one, because I think that obviously you were going for something literal, but with this pandemic,
oh my God,
it's an anthem. It's an anthem for everybody. Everybody's going through something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you say, baby, are we gonna make it? You know, your cash is my words, my cash is my time. Why can't we learn to toe the line? But this is like another level now. Can you just tell me how the songs have evolved after you put them on a piece of paper and like this year have got greater meaning?
Right? I mean, that was, I think about that and like how really weird it is that we made all those songs before all of this hit. And that is so, you know, that song, it's almost an anomaly on the album. It is, you know, a minor song. Well, I guess Don't Worry is also in a minor key, but you know, it a little bit stands out as an anomaly, a different piece, a different jewel tone, so to speak. And that song is actually the amalgamation of 2 different songs that I had written. So I'd written a song, like I'd started Baby Are We Gonna Make It ages ago. I mean, dude, I think I started that song like 10 years ago, and I just couldn't ever figure it out. Like it never came together, you know?
Interesting.
And then I was on a retreat right after it was 2016, so right after the election, and I was devastated. I was exhausted. I was so upset about the election in 2016, and I went on a little retreat. So I think it was probably a couple months later, so probably in 2017. And I went on a retreat. It was a silent retreat. I was at this Jesuit retreat center that we have here in Denver, or near Denver. And after a couple of days of being quiet and just listening to birdsong, honestly, it's birdsong that came back to me. I realized the phrase was, the world is worth saving. The world is, you know, the world is worth like being here for. And that morning, it just came to me, your cash is words, my cash is time. Why can't we learn to that whole chorus came to me. And I was feeling really deeply sad about like disconnection between humans, how like we have like different currencies. It's like we don't understand. It's almost so basic. Like if I try to pay you with, you know, with words, but you don't get fed by words, you get fed by, you know, by time. I was just like kind of, it was that like feeling of just the sorrow of how we don't connect with each other in the ways that sometimes really matter. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, that goes with Baby Are We Gonna Make It? Like I was like,
that's amazing.
It came together, you know?
So what do you do there? You go to your iPhone, you go to grab a piece of paper, like a napkin, like what do you do?
Yeah, right.
Whatever, I
think right. Napkins have been used. iPhones are, I sang it into my voice memo. I mean, voice memos are like, thank God for voice memos.
Yeah.
I think it was voice memo, and then I was journaling. So I have like 1,000 journals, you know, so.
Amazing. Oh, I mean, listen, guys, like I could spend the entire day talking about each song. I mean, you mentioned Don't Worry. I mean, it's perfect. The way it just pauses in the middle of the night, in the middle of a dream, and like it's like straight to your gut. So listen, we can spend 20 minutes per song. We don't have the time. You guys are so generous with your time. I hear a rumor that you guys may perform a song for us. Is that true?
Woo! Well, I think you know. We are going to move over here to our piano.
Oh my God, this is fantastic.
We are
so lucky. Seth, thank you so much, guys. This is what a treat.
Thank you. This seriously, the treat is all ours. I'm just so thankful that like people who are movers and shakers like you listen to our music and found us. Thank you.
No, absolutely. Can't wait for the post-pandemic return to normalcy. And
right? I can't wait to tour Florida. I've already got like 5 different places that I want to play. So
perfect. Absolutely. Fantastic. Can't wait.
Okay, so we're going to sing Missouri Calling for you.
Oh, that's great. What a treat. Thank you, guys.
I entered the Kerrville Folk Festival. I forgot that I'd done it, and then it turns out I entered this song, and this song ended up being chosen as a finalist, or this and another one, Champagne.
Champagne's another great one. Yeah, I can't. Don't even get me started. Champagne. I mean, it's such a simple line, but so powerful. I can't. Don't get me started, China. All right. New album, Crucible. Released already, October 23rd. Play it wherever you stream your music. All of them are amazing. It's one of the best records of the year. Go ahead, guys.
Thank you, Jamie.
Oh, I'm tired in this body. Trouble got me down in the city. Everything feels off like a rain delay. Streets are cold when I wake up. My bones stiff and surly. Last night's good time evaporates. My head's full of fog and fury, and I never thought I'd end up so lonely. No, I never thought I'd be so sorry. Mama walked in, so she threw me out. Said you never raised no whore, you're just like you. Think you're so clever. I couldn't wait to get out. Mountains of bud and the money. I took a deep, deep breath. Denver was supposed to be sunny, and I never thought I'd end up so lonely. No, I never thought I'd be so sorry. Left my home like a hook fin, shook it off like a wet retriever, drove 70 straight west, gave it my all, but it took the rest. Yeah, gave it my all, and I never thought I'd end up so lonely. No, I never thought I'd be so sorry. Some of the wood thrush in my mind, visions of newness, a new day, cobwebs of the night before you, shimmering in wonder. Green, green softness, the sound of the whippoorwill, lying on my back in the darkness. I hear Missouri calling, and I never thought I'd end up so lonely. No, I never thought I'd be so sorry. No, I never thought I'd end up so lonely. No, I never thought you would be so sorry.
Wow, such force. Unbelievable, guys. Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
China, Seth, you guys killed it. You guys said it all. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day and really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much too.
All right, guys. See you around.